places once you get here.
You're the jack of all trades.
I'm starting out here, and then I'm taking pictures.
Are you social media?
And then I'm doing something else.
Are you social mediaing?
I don't know.
Okay.
John has me doing 4 different things.
It's because we believe in you. Brian, she's your fiance. Whatever's yours is hers. Right, Heidi?
I have a prenup. I'm prenup to a few. I thought I was going to get Bezos.
Prenup. I don't think Heidi would sign a prenup.
I don't think she'd let me sign a prenup.
John, I'm ready to go whenever you are.
We're live now, so you can go and get started.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome inside the Steinke Physical Education Center on the campus of Texas A&M-Kingsville, where this evening the Javelina Sports Network presents another Javelina doubleheader tonight. The Javelinas welcome in the Midwestern State Mustangs for 2 games here at the Spec, and we'll get started off with Wade Scott's Javelinas going up against Noelle Johnson and her MSU Texas Mustangs. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday evening, preceding the start of the first of 2 consecutive weekends chock full of Javelina basketball. The Hogs hosting MSU Texas today, and then they play Cameron on Saturday. And for the Javelinas, looking to keep what has been a positive streak going. They have won 4 out of their last 5 games, including 2 wins over the past weekend. They beat Western New Mexico on Thursday, followed by a victory over UT Permian Basin on Saturday. And the Javelinas trying to make it 5 out of 6 this evening. We'll take a quick break here as we prepare for the national anthem here at the Spec. We'll be right back and bring you right up to the opening tip-off when we return. This is Javelina basketball. Don't go away. Back here at the Spec, just moments away from the opening tip-off, and I'll give you the starting 5 for both teams, starting with the visiting MSU Texas Mustangs. The guards for Coach Noelle Johnson, who's in her 11th season at the helm of that program. Chelsea Kizard, a 5'6" senior guard from St. Paul, Minnesota. Mika Schneider, a 5'9" junior guard from Boerne, Texas. And Haven Risley, a 5'10" redshirt freshman guard from Canadian, Texas. At the forward spot is Liz Cathcart, a 6'1" junior forward from Spring Branch, Texas. And the center on this MSU Texas team is Hannah Reynolds, a 6'4" sophomore from Prosper, Texas. For the Javelinas, the same starting five that the Javelina fans have gotten used to. At the guard spots are Danielle Metter, a 5'10" junior guard from Corpus Christi, Texas. Brene Thompson, who is now the leading scorer in the Lone Star Conference at 5'7" tall, a junior from Houston, Texas. And Rachel Taps, a 5'8" junior guard from Cypress Ranch, Texas. The two forwards in the lineup for Wade Scott are Chloe Lane, a 5'11" senior guard from Kansas City, Missouri, and Brianna Solis, a 5'9" redshirt freshman forward from San Angelo, Texas. Hogs, again, trying to keep the good vibes going after winning 4 out of their last 5 games. They're also trying to reach 500 in the conference at the latest point in a season since the 2009-2010 campaign, when they finished 6-6 in conference. They entered this game 7-8 overall and 3-4 in the LSC. And that streak has seen the Javelinas move all the way up to 6th in the conference. And one of the teams that is a single game behind them are the MSU Texas Mustangs, who are coming at 6-9. They are 3-5 in the Lone Star Conference, and the Javelinas trying to avoid becoming part of what's essentially a logjam that's formed behind them in the LSC. There are 3 teams at 3-5: Midwestern State, Cameron, or at least there were 3 teams at 3-5 coming into today. Midwestern State, Cameron, and Texas Women. TWU lost in overtime to Eastern New Mexico earlier today. So, and Cameron, they have a tough game today against Angelo State on the road. The ball is up, the tip run by Reynolds, and it comes back to Kazart. So, if Cameron loses and the Javelinas beat Midwestern State, the Hogs would be 2 games out of the 3 teams tied at 3-6. And Tamuk with a steal, but Brianna Solis couldn't keep her foot off the baseline with the basketball. And possession stays with MSU Texas after a reset of the shot clock. So the Hogs, with an opportunity, they are a game up on the 3 teams in the 7th spot right now. A tip and a steal, Lane to Metter. And the Javelinas with their first offensive possession. Taps to Brene Thompson, who, as I mentioned, is now the leading scorer in the LSC as far as points per game, 15.9 points per game. She's averaging 19 per night her last 5 times out. The steal by Kazart. And both defenses on point, and Kazart coast to coast for the layup. And MSU Texas is on the board first. Taps bringing it up for the Javelinas. And this starting 5 has become the normal starting 5 for Wade Scott, with Nicole Hutchins on the mend. And they have proved to be as Solis hits the layup, a very cohesive group. Mika Schneider puts up a contested 3. That one not even close, and Solis with the rebound. Solis, who's averaging nearly 7 rebounds a game, is coming off one of the most impressive performances by any Javelina player this season. 17 boards against UT Permian Basin on Saturday. And there isn't even a player on the men's team who's hit that total this season. Solis with another rebound, tosses it back out for Lane, puts up a long 2-pointer, no good. Schneider bringing it up, wants to go right to the lane. Good pass to Cathcart. And MSU Texas up now 4-2. Good awareness. Thompson wants to go straight in. Layup too strong. Easy rebound for Reynolds. And then a foul on Tamuk. And that'll be the first foul by either team. It goes against Brene Thompson. And Reynolds, the most noteworthy player on this MSU Texas team. The only person averaging double digits as far as points per game at 11.8, but her most impressive stat, she leads the LSC in blocked shots and blocks per game. She's averaging more than 2.5 blocked shots per contest. Risley to Kizart, stolen by Taps. Now Thompson ahead. So Lee's wide open under the basket for the layup. And we are even at 4. So both teams using the fast break to get on the scoreboard here in the early going as we close in on 3 minutes gone in the opening quarter. Long three won't go, but tipping the rebound to herself is Risley. Back out, Schneider will try another three. That one is rebounded by Metter, who then gets fouled by Risley. And the Javelinas will inbound it. Risley, who picked up her first foul, comes out. The first substitution of the game is Tana Diaz. So each team now with one foul. Metter tries a three, nothing but net. Javelinas take a 3-point lead. And that our first three-pointer of the evening. Diaz going inside, trying to put up the shot. Is Cathcart, no good. And Metter slowly bringing it up, guarded closely by Kazart. Almost lost it out of bounds, but the ball stayed in play. And Taps draws the contact on Schneider, will go to the line. And now Taps will shoot 2 free throws. And Taps' first one is up and good. She's a 54% free throw shooter. She had one of her best nights when the Javelinas upset WT. She was 9 of 12 from the charity stripe that evening. And that was one of the biggest factors in helping the Javelinas to a victory. And Taps is 2 of 2. Javelinas ahead by 5. Kazart will bring it up, averaging 3 assists per game as the point guard on this MSU Texas team. Diaz for the free throw line, no good. Reynolds up high for the rebound, but Lane tips it to Metter. And now Lane will bring it up to Rachel Taps. Neither one of these teams excellent shooting from the outside. Their each team's both going to try as many high percentage shots as possible. And Lane into the paint to draw the foul on Kazart. And that's 3 on the Mustangs. And plays like that are going to be important in tonight's game. Really the keys in this game for both of these teams. You have an MSU Texas team with a talented player on the inside like Hannah Reynolds, as Lane's first free throw is no good. And for the Javelinas, you have a player like Brianna Solis, who has been excellent recently. And like I said, neither one of these teams is going to rely on the three-point shot a lot. They're going to try and drive to the lane, utilize the paint, score in the low post. Points in the paint, second chance points, rebounds are going to be enormous in today's game. And Hannah Reynolds with her first 2 points of the night. Chimook's lead sliced to 4 at 10-6. As we near the halfway point here in the first quarter. Lane to Thompson. Looking for her first points of the night. Travels and turns it over. And Kazart will bring it up. Puts up the 3, no good. Reynolds can't get the rebound. Metter saves it to Taps with a 3-on-2 down the floor. Taps has it blocked out of bounds, asking for a foul, but it'll be Javelina basketball with 24 seconds to shoot. And Hannah O'Coin comes in, replacing Chloe Lane. Taps looking to inbound to Thompson. And Thompson travels for the second time in about a minute, and that'll turn it over once again to MSU Texas. Thompson, over her team's last 5 games, averaging nearly 20 points per game. Her lowest point total was the 16 she scored against UT Permian Basin on Saturday. And she had 28 when the Javelinas beat West Texas, and a travel by Tana Diaz will turn it over to the Javelinas. Christina Kanya will enter the game after our first media timeout at the 4:55 mark. We will go to break. 10-6 is our score. The Javelinas with a 4-point lead in the opening quarter over MSU Texas. We'll be right back. Both teams back out on the floor. And Rachel Taps bring it up. Taps to Metter. Trying to get inside. Layup over Reynolds, no good. So Lee's putback is too strong. And a jump ball is called. Possession will stay with MSU Texas at the 4:42 mark. Reve Payne into the game for the first time. And Rachel Taps will get a quick rest. Payne to inbound it for the Javelinas. An early 4-point lead. Kanya now trying to get open now inside to Solis, who lays it through. 6 points for Brianna Solis. Her season high this season, if you're wondering, is 13. Solis trying for the steal and gets it from Cathcart. Payne moving ahead. MSU back on defense, forcing Payne to slow down. Metter, though, left wide open, takes advantage. Metter with 6 points. Tamuk by 9. Here is Schneider. Schneider 5th in the LSC in assists per game at 3.9. Pass over the head of Reynolds. Out of bounds, possession to the Javelinas at the 3:53 mark. And a few quick subs in for Midwestern State. Annie Skoll, Courtney Kerr enter the game. So does Annette Dukes. Jamook looking for the first double-digit lead of the night. Made it to Alcoyne. Lane, corner for Reve Payne. Alcoyne trying to work the low post, lost it out of bounds. And Brene Thompson back in the game. Wonder if maybe Wade Scott took Thompson out. She was certainly frustrated after those first 2 traveling calls against her. Scott might have taken her out just to let her clear her head, and now puts his best scorer back in the game. Schneider right to the hole for the layup, using the window to perfection. Javelinas ahead by 7 points here in the opening quarter. Both teams shooting better than 40%. MSU Texas are looking for their first 3. Lane for Reve Payne. Pull up for the jump shot, no good. Skoll with the rebound to Schneider. MSU has also not been to the free throw line in this game. Skoll thought about the 3, now gives it up. Schneider, she'll try the tray and connects. Schneider with 5 points, and MSU is within 4. Payne to Lane, almost lost it now, thought about driving. Pulls up from the left elbow, an air ball, and just content to let that bounce out of bounds is Courtney Kerr. So MSU will get it back, 2:31 on the clock. Center of the Mustangs trying to get a run going here in the first quarter. Pass out to no one in particular, and out of bounds to the Javelina. Schneider wanted to get that inside to Dukes, but there was no passing lane. Passed it out, but there was nobody home. Payne with Lane, Kanya, Alcoin, and Thompson on the floor. Left for Chloe Lane, who had 21 on Saturday against the Falcons. Payne inside. Kanya up top. Helen is looking for the shot. 12 to shoot. Had it knocked away and stolen by Kerr. Deflected out of bounds by the Javelinas, and Midwestern State maintaining possession. Already 13 turnovers in this game. We're not even through one quarter. Under 2 minutes to go. Schneider, the junior from Boerne, Texas.
Y14.
Three, no good. Rebound fought for. Dukes had it for a second, but the loose ball comes to Chloe Lane. Ahead to Reve Payne. Knocked away and out of bounds by Diaz. Lane maybe a little too ambitious with that pass, but no harm, no foul. Still Javelina ball. Payne inbounding it to Lane. Lane to Payne, moving to the left side. 17 to shoot in a 4-point game. Lane drives inside, no good. Gets it back. Pass stolen by the Mustangs. Risley and MSU still have scored the last 5 points. And coming out of nowhere to get that rebound was Risley. Trying to get inside for a shot attempt is Kerr, but a foul call on Chloe Lane. That's her first 2 on Tamuk. Brianna Solis back into the game for Lane. Solis returns already with 6 points to her credit. Mustangs still looking for their first trip to the free throw line. Pass inside Risley, back out for Kerr. Kizart on the left wing, under a minute to play, 17 to shoot. Right side, Risley pulls up free throw line, jumper no good. Solis wrestles the rebound away. Ahead of the pack is Thompson, but Solis brings it up herself, gives it to Payne. Loose ball and a whistle. I think they're going to get a foul on Reve Payne. And sure enough, that's the call. I don't think Payne was expecting that pass. And good awareness by Kerr to be in the right place and take advantage. Kizart. Ball stolen by Solis. Now Solis slows it down, finds Thompson outside. Can't put away the triple. Payne's there for the offensive board. Inside to Thompson. Left side too strong. Rebounded by Skoll. Kizart ahead as we've gone a few minutes now without a bucket. Score's been frozen at 15 to 11. MSU can hold for the last shot. And Kizart lays it up and in at the buzzer. And MSU ends the first quarter on a 7-0 run after trailing 15 to 6. And we're through one here at the Spec, a 2-point game, 15 to 13, the lead for the Javelinas. And we'll be right back. This is the Javelina Sports Network. You're watching Tamuk basketball. Don't go away. The last 4 minutes and 16 seconds of that quarter were scoreless for the Javelinas. Their last basket was a 3 by Danielle Metter, and that allowed the Mustangs to score the final 7 points of the period, whittling what was a 9-point lead down to just 2 as we begin the second quarter. Risley for Skoll, trying to give the Mustangs the lead. No good. Alcoyne has the rebound. Reynolds fighting her for it. The jump ball is called. Possession to the blue and gold. Mustangs come into this game as a team, statistically speaking, at least a little bit stronger on the defensive end. They're second in the conference in field goal percentage defense, and led by the effort of Hannah Reynolds. They're first in the conference in blocked shots. Loose ball in the backcourt. Now it's grabbed by Taps. MSU wanted a backcourt violation, but there was no call. Metter trying to get it inside to Taps. Now cross court for Thompson with 7 to shoot. Inside, layup no good, but she draws contact and will go to the free throw line. And that's Annie Skoll's first of the night. And as you would expect, 36 seconds in, the first foul of the quarter. Thompson to try 2. Arguably the hottest scorer in the LSC makes the first one. Thompson from Houston, 75% free throw shooter. Has hit 20 points 5 times this season. And I think what we could safely say is a breakout campaign. Rebound tipped to Danielle Metter. And now the Javelinas trying to make this a 2-possession game again. Metter driving in for the floater, no good. And the rebound came to Risley. Kizart now handling it. Right side Skoll, left wide open. Can't tie it up. Rebounded again by Solis. Taps looking to drive in. Lost out of bounds to the Mustangs. Taps leading this team in assists. She averages about 2 dimes per game. Waiting, still waiting. Low post for Solis over Reynolds, an air ball. And Reynolds is there for the rebound. Kizart in a 3-point game. Skoll. She'll try and tie it again. That one's no good as well. Rebounded though by the Mustangs. Poor pass is stolen by Metter. Left side for Thompson. And the offense will reset as she brings that into the corner. Taps. Alcoyne. Loose ball, but it came to Thompson. Trying to utilize the glass. No good. Cathcart to Kizart. Javelinas with a big edge in rebounding so far, 17-11, as Reynolds can't get that to go. And now Alcoyne adds to with another board to move with 8 offensive rebounds to the team's credit tonight. Thompson will try another floater. That one does not fall, and Reynolds adds another rebound to her total. Ahead quickly, Risley. Reynolds free throw line. Can't hit it. Metter with the rebound. And shooting percentages now getting close to under 30% for both teams. Metter can't hit that one. Reynolds the rebound. We go back in the other direction. Taps guarding Kizart. Or should say blocking foul. 2 free throws coming for the senior from St. Paul, Minnesota. Taps tried to draw the foul, but instead 2 shots for the Mustangs. Kizart at just a shade under 70%. First one no good. Lane comes back in for Alcoyne, and Tana Diaz returns for MSU. And Mika Schneider preparing to enter in just a moment. Mustangs, as a team, shooting 67% from the charity stripe this season. And Kizart misses the first one, makes the second. And a rest for her. She heads to the bench for Schneider. Lane to Taps. 2-point game right now. Mustangs have not led at all. Taps is trapped in the front court. A timeout by Wade Scott. And Taps tapping your chest as if to say that one's on me. So at 7:22, we'll take a quick break. This is the Javelina Sports Network. Don't go away. .7:22 to play in the first half. Remaining 16-14 is the lead for the Javelinas over the MSU Texas Mustangs, and plenty of action around the Lone Star Conference today. The Hogs are right now one of 4 games being played. The only game that was one game that was played earlier, Texas Women's against Eastern New Mexico. The Greyhounds won it by a point in overtime. We also have Western New Mexico at Commerce, UTPB at Tarleton, and Cameron at Angelo State today. Plenty of action around the league this evening. Tabs to inbound it with Lane, Thompson, Solis, and Metter on the floor with her. Inbounds it, and it comes and quickly gets it back. Hamlin's looking for their first points from the floor since 4:18 remained in the first quarter. Thompson thought about putting up the bucket from the paint, out to Metter. Metter draws the foul and will go to the free throw line. And that will be on Tana Diaz, her first. 7:04 to play in the second quarter. Here is Metter, 82% from the free throw line. And first one, no good. I was just about to say, she's the best free throw shooter on this team percentage-wise. And coming off a double-double on Saturday, hits the second shot. 7 points on the evening for her. And Tamook's lead is back up to 3 points. Those 7 points right now are a game high. Pass to Reynolds, almost stolen by Taps, and then the ball comes loose again. And it comes to Metter. Inside to Thompson, but a poor pass by Metter turns it back over to the visitors. And turnovers are piling up for both sides in this game. That is number 20. And they're evenly distributed, 10 apiece. Snyder trying to get MSU's offense started. They're shooting just 30%, which is actually the better of these two teams. Tamook just 5 for 22, 22.7% from the floor this evening. Inside for the layup, 2 points for Tana Diaz. And we have a 1-point game. Taps. Brene Thompson still looking for her first bucket from the floor this evening. Pass to Lane, 12 to shoot. Taps. Brene Thompson with the shot clock at 7. Thought about giving it up. Now cross court for Metter at 5, 4. Taps will put up the 3. No good. Mustangs can tie or take the lead. Pass a little bit too long for Tana Diaz. We're seeing a lot of that in this game. A lot of these turnovers just caused by teams trying to be aggressive, whether it's trying to move the ball on the fast break or find a player ahead of the pack. And a number of the passes have just been off the mark, and that's led to turnovers. And another example of it right there. Taps inside for the floater, no good. A foul called. And this will be on MSU Texas. That's Annie Scholes' second. 3 fouls against the Mustangs so far. And Taps limping her way to the free throw line. This is the 5th time Tamook has been to the charity stripe. For Midwestern, they've only shot 2 free throws so far. And the official, I think, just waiting for Taps to give her the all clear. One of the officials on the near side having a quick discussion with Noelle Johnson. Johnson in her 11th season ahead of this program, the winningest coach in the history of MSU Texas, 145 victories to her credit. And first free throw by Taps is good. And Johnson earned that distinction here against the Javelinas last year with a 72-66 win. That earned her the distinction of the winningest coach in program history. Has taken this team to the NCAA tournament 3 times. Those all came in consecutive seasons from 2013 to 2015. Taps goes out. Reve Payne comes in. Taps 4 points, all from the free throw line. She's a perfect 4 of 4. And the first words from Wade Scott, Taps just came off the floor, said, "You are right." And I'd be shocked if Taps' response was anything along the lines of anything but something like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Reynolds with the layup. 4 points for her. Lead back down to 1. Payne to Chloe Lane. Payne has that layup blocked by Reynolds. Kerr thought about the 3. Now Reynolds up top. Diaz inside to Cathcart. Has it stolen by the combination of Solis and Lane. Lane slowly brings it across half court for Metter. Almost pouncing for a steal was Diaz, but just a split second too late. Payne trying to get it inside to Solis. Instead, now free throw line, passing it out to Thompson. 12 to shoot. Thompson still with just 1 point this evening. Lane for 3, no good. Solis can't outfight Reynolds for the rebound. Schneider steps out for the pull-up jump shot, no good. Rebounded by Chloe Lane. Ahead to Metter. Trying to get to Solis, and another pass. That was just off target, out of bounds to Midwestern State. Haven Risley comes in. Chelsea Kizart returns as Schneider and Cathcart go to the bench. MSU trailing by 1, trying to take their first lead since this game was 4-2 in the opening minutes. Kerr from the right side trying to drive through. Payne bucket and the foul.
Foul home 14.
They call the foul on Chloe Lane, her second. And now Kerr will try and complete this 3-point play as Al Coyne comes back in the game. MSU Texas looking for a 2-point lead as the junior from Paradise, Texas drains the foul shot. So Hogs trailing for the first time in the second quarter. Full court presses on, almost having it stolen was Payne, and now Coyne travels. Ball back to the Mustangs. Turnover number 11 for Tamuk. Kizart trying for the layup, no good, out of bounds. Javelina basketball. Payne, Solis, Alcoyne, Metter, and Thompson with the 5 on the floor for the Javelinas. In a 2-point game, Payne inside, out for Metter. 3 for the lead. She's got it. Metter already with 10 points. And she's been in double figures now 5 of her team's last 6 games. Driving in and passing it out to Kizart was Diaz. Kerr. Reynolds. As we go down under 3 minutes to go, Kizart can't answer with the 3. Payne tips it right back to MSU, but it's stolen by the Javelinas. Solis thought about driving, now keeps it outside. And all the Javelinas, now Solis moves aside. I was going to say all the Hogs outside the paint. Another 3 attempt by Metter, no good. Rebound out to Diaz. This game again back to being a 1-point difference. Risley for Kerr. Swinging it left for Kazart. Corner for Kerr. Will try an open three and makes it happen. Courtney Kerr with a three. And MSU's back ahead by 2. 6 points for the 5'9" junior. Payne picked up her dribble pass for Alcoyne, but now it's stolen by Kazart. Heading in, lays it through. And the Mustangs lead by 4 for the first time tonight. Payne to Metter. Under for Solis. Can't hit the layup, but does draw the foul on Haven Risley. That's 2 on her. And you can see on plays like that how much Hannah Reynolds' presence is affecting Tamook's ability to execute on offense. That's the 4th or 5th time, I think, that we've seen a Javelina player drive and just see Reynolds in the paint and realize there's no way they had a shot to put one into the net over her. So Lisa's first free throw is good as Cathcart returns, and Reynolds is so adept at blocking shots and controlling the paint, it's really limiting what the Hogs can do on offense. Both free throws good for Solis, 8 points for her. And that's a credit to Hannah Reynolds. That's one of the reasons why I guess you could say how quickly, as just a sophomore, she's become a intimidating presence in the Lone Star Conference. Kazart, left side for Kerr. In for Reynolds, ball off her hands, it comes to Payne, who almost lost it back. We get a whistle out of bounds to the Javelinas. And Angelica Wall making her first appearance of the night. 2-point game, 80 seconds away from halftime. Kazart, Diaz, Reynolds, Kerr, and Cathcart are Midwestern States 5 that are in action right now. Payne to Metter. Metter already with 10 points. Midwestern playing aggressive on defense. Wall with it. She'll put up a 3. Good. Angelica Wall gives Tamook a 1-point lead. Under a minute to play here is Kazart. Mustangs trying to get the advantage right back. Offensive foul on Hannah Reynolds. Or check that, on Courtney Kerr. 1 on her, and that puts MSU over the limit. And Tamook obviously can't hold for the last shot here, as we are, well, I should say we were just under 50 seconds at the point of inbounds on that last play. Metter travels, possession to MSU, and Metter kind of did a double take look on the ref, and the ref just kind of nodded in her direction. No words needed to be said. And now Bridget Upton comes in for the first time. And Christina Kanya making her presence known coming off the bench, and she'll sub in as well. So Payne, Alcoyne, Upton, Wall, and Kanya on the floor for the Highlanders will probably be the 5 to finish this half. So none of the starters on the floor right now for Wade Scott. His team holding a 1-point lead. Kazart already with 7 points. Cathcart with it. So Wall, or I should say guarded by Wall, to Reynolds. Kazart steps it back. Reynolds inside. Cathcart working on Payne. Right side jump shot by Diaz, no good. Payne the rebound. Under 14 seconds to play as Payne brings it up. Tamook can hold for the last shot. Defense played closely by Kerr. 7 seconds to play in the half. Wall. She'll try it at the buzzer, no good. Rebounded by MSU. And heave as the buzzer sounds, no good. And we go to halftime with a 1-point game. The score, MSU trailing Temuque 27-26 through 20 minutes of play. A pretty evenly matched first half. And we'll come right back over all the first half stats. This is Texas A&M-Kingsville basketball. Do not go away. Halftime here at the Spec. The Javelinas with a narrow 1-point lead, 27-26 over the MSU Texas Mustangs. After a first half where the Javelinas held the lead for the majority of the opening 20 minutes. They led for more than 15 of those 20 minutes before taking a 1-point lead into the locker room. Neither team, as I mentioned, shooting the ball particularly well, although MSU at 37.9%, a respectable percentage so far. Temuque just 7 of 29 from the field so far in this game. The saving graces for the Javelinas, they have a couple more three-pointers. They're 4 of 8 from beyond the arc. MSU is just 2 of 12. Also, Temuque much more active from the charity stripe, 9 of 12 from the free throw line. MSU Texas is just 2 of 3. Javelinas had a pretty substantial edge in rebounding throughout most of the first half, but MSU closed the gap as the half got closer and closer to an end. Temuque's edge now stands at 22-19. They do have 8 offensive rebounds in this game, but they've turned those into just 2 second chance points, the only 2 second chance points so far in this game. Turnovers have been an issue for both teams, and you know both coaches are going to be talking to their squads about that issue in the first half. The Hogs picked up 10 steals in the first half and forced 15 turnovers. But Temuque also turned the ball over 13 times themselves. And this is an MSU Texas team that's usually pretty good about not turning the ball over. They're 4th in the conference in turnover margin, but the Hogs lead the conference in turnovers forced. They average better than 17 takeaways per game, and after tonight, that mark is almost certainly going to go up. As I said before, they already have 15. As far as scoring is concerned, Chelsea Kizart leads the way for MSU Texas with 7 points, while Courtney Kerr has 6. Probably the best thing the Hogs have done through one half of play is limiting Hannah Reynolds, who averages nearly 12 points per game and is the only Mustang who came in averaging double figures per night to just 4 points. Reynolds is 2 of 4 on the night. She does, however, have 6 rebounds. So she's well on her way to reaching her average. Or actually averages 6 rebounds a game. She's already at her average so far this season. Danielle Metter is the only player in double figures tonight. She has 10, a total that includes a trio of 3-pointers. Brianna Solis also with 8. And both Solis and Metter are already halfway to a double-double. Metter has 10 points, 7 rebounds. Solis with 8 points, along with 5 boards in this game. And Tabuk also with 4 points out of Rachel Taps, who's 4 of 4 from the free throw line tonight. And Angelica Wall is on the score sheet for just the 3rd time this season. She hit a 3 late in the half that gave the Hogs the lead. And those are her only 3 points of the evening, but that actually matches the redshirt juniors' season high. Javelina, as I mentioned, ahead by 1 point through 1.5 play. 27-26 is our score. And don't forget, this is the first half of a Temuk doubleheader tonight. The women play first, and then the Javelinas and the Mustangs will tangle in men's basketball right after that. And the Javelina men riding a 4-game win streak, trying to win their 5th in a row when they play MSU Texas later tonight. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back. This is halftime from the Spec. You are watching Texas A&M-Kingsville basketball. Don't go away. (27-26) our score as we are back at the Steinke Physical Education Center for tonight's game between the Javelinas and the Midwestern State Mustangs. As I mentioned earlier in the game, plenty of action around the Lone Star Conference this evening, as every other team is in action tonight. The only game that every team is or was in action today, the only game that has already finished was played at noon today, Eastern New Mexico at home against Texas Women's. And Eastern winning that game in overtime, 79-78 on a pair of free throws in the final second of that game that allowed Eastern to avoid the upset and hold on for and take a 1-point win. Texas A&M Commerce is at home. They are entertaining Western New Mexico. A close game through one half of play. The Lions leading Western New Mexico by a score of 30-24. UT Permian Basin, the team at the bottom of the Lone Star Conference, giving Tarleton State just about all they can handle so far in that one, which is in Stephenville. But Tarleton holding on to a narrow 30-28 lead with 20 minutes gone. And the other game that's going on right now, the Cameron Aggies visiting the top team in the LSC, the Angelo State Ramblers. And Angelo State all over Cameron in the first half ahead, 43-28. This is an Angelo State team that includes probably the best player in the conference in Deanira Moore, who has 10 points to lead all players for Angelo State in that game. 2 home games for Temuque this weekend. The Javelinas will play host to Cameron on Saturday. That game with a 2 p.m. tip-off. And once again, if you can't make it here to the arena, you can catch all the action via the Javelina Sports Network on YouTube Live and link to via JavelinaAthletics.com. So both teams just minutes away from beginning the second half of play in a 1-point game. 27-26 is our score. From Western State back on the floor. The Javelinas on their way out momentarily. We'll be right back with the second half of basketball here from the Spec. This is Javelina Sports. Javelinas and Mustangs back on the floor as we prepare to start the second half. 27-26 is our score. The Javelinas with a 1-point edge after a first half that they led for more than 15 minutes. MSU managed to grab a 4-point lead late in the half, but Temuque able to come back and edge back in front just before the buzzer sounded, thanks to a 3 by Angelica Wall. And that represented just the 3rd basket of the season for Angelica Wall, but it's her second 3, and also it couldn't have come at a better time, right before halftime, to give Temuque the lead back. Javelinas is trying to improve on what was a 7 for 29 effort shooting from the floor in the first half. But what they really did well, or I should say better than MSU, was get to the free throw line. They shot 12 free throws in the first half. MSU only took 3. Not much in the way of foul trouble for either side. Risley and Skoll for MSU have 2 fouls. For the Hogs, it's Chloe Lane is the only player with multiple infractions. Schneider, Kazart, Reynolds, Cathcart, and Risley on the floor for MSU. For Tamuk, the same starting 5: Thompson, Taps, Metter, Lane, and Solis. Kazart, Cathcart pass inside, taken away by Solis. Metter to Taps. Metter, right for Thompson. Thompson left-handed layup is good, and there is Benet Thompson's first basket from the floor this evening. And got to give a lot of credit to MSU. They have this player coming in who's averaged nearly 20 points a game in her last 5 contests. To keep her to just 1 point in the first half is a pretty significant accomplishment as Cathcart pockets 2 points. Here is Taps. Out to Lane. Metter, who has 3 3-pointers to her credit so far in this game. Thompson with 5 to shoot. Driving inside shot over Reynolds. Reynolds way too strong. And grabbed by MSU, but not grabbed by MSU off of the out-of-bounds play as the Hogs are the last team to touch it. 2 evenly matched teams through 21 minutes and change. Pass aside for Kazart. Little too strong, couldn't keep it in bounds. And MSU turned it over. Those passes giving each coach, I think, some gray hair through just a little over 2 quarters of basketball. 17 turnovers already for MSU. Taps. Layup, not strong enough. Rebounded by Reynolds. Schneider drives right through an open lane into the paint for 2 points. She's got 7 points. Lane driving past Reynolds, using the window, no good. Solis wants to go right back up, almost has it taken away. Now out to Metter. Metter driving in past Cathcart for the layup. 12 points for Danielle Metter. In for Reynolds, left wide open, and they don't get too much easier than that. 6 points for the sophomore. Metter, 12 points and 7 rebounds so far, out to Thompson. Spinning off of Kizart, turn around for the pull-up, no good. Thompson bats out of the hands of Reynolds, but it comes to Schneider anyway, and a foul in the backcourt. I think this one will be on Solis. Indeed it is. First foul of the second half, Christina Kanya in for Chloe Lane.
First team foul for the Hawks. In the game for the Javelina, number 25, Christina Kanya.
Gazart, her team holding a 1-point edge. Trying to get it inside to a cutting Risley, but there's no passing lane. Cathcart on the right side. So Lee's guarding Reynolds in the paint. Gazart driving. Layup just a little too strong. Reynolds right there for the putback. That doesn't go. MSU wanted a foul, but instead the loose ball comes to Thompson. Left side, Metter will put up the 3. That one doesn't go, and 2 MSU players fighting for the rebound. It came to Gazart, ahead to Schneider. MSU, one of the few teams you'll see in college ball with names in the back of their jerseys. Rebound out to Reynolds. Back up. That one no good. Trying to tip the rebound out was Cathcart, but she drew a foul. Now the good news for Cathcart, that's just her first foul, and just 1 on MSU here in this half. Metter on the right side. Leading scorer in this game so far, Taps. Layup blocked by Cathcart. But I believe they're going to get a foul on her, and indeed they do. That's 2 quick fouls on Liz Cathcart in a couple of seconds. That's 2 on her. 2 shots for Taps. Taps trying to add to her total of 4 points. First free throw. Rachel Taps must be living right, as that one finds the twine and a smile on her face. And she adds 1 more to Mook's total to tie up this game. Cathcart goes out. Tana Diaz returns. And a quick discussion right in front of me between Noel Johnson and one of the officials regarding that last call. Discussion breaks up. Taps can't hit the second free throw. Rebounded by Risley. Schneider moving up in a hurry. Tied at 32. Third tie we've had in this game. Pass for Reynolds, stolen by Solis. MSU so intent on getting into Reynolds, but Solis has done a great job of stealing a number of those passes into the post. Thompson driving past Schneider for 2. If Brene Thompson gets hot, watch out. Chinook back ahead by 2 into Reynolds. Over Solis, not strong enough. Trying to get in for the rebound is Risley, drawing the foul. And that's on Kanya, 1 on her. Solis with 6 steals in this game. Kazart left wide open, takes advantage. 10 points for her. And now Taps. Everyone ran into the front court, needs someone to inbound it. She finally inbounds it to Kanya and then just gets it right back. Rena Solis, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 6 steals. Kanya to Taps. Thompson heading inside, trying to hit it over Reynolds, draws the contact. That'll be a foul on Tana Diaz. 2 on her, 3 on MSU, 2 shots for Brene Thompson. And first to 2 is up and good. Thompson trying to give her team a 1-point lead. .5:13 to go. We are just shy of our media timeout. Brene Thompson has 7 points. Hogs ahead 36-35. Kazart. Diaz guarded by Thompson. 13 seconds to shoot. Reynolds gives it right back. Diaz going to drive in, out. Schneider will try a tray. No good, rebounded by Taps. Ahead to Metter. Grabbed that almost like a football player catching a pass from a quarterback. Thompson, shot is no good. Solis right back up for the putback. 10 for Brianna Solis to move up by 3. Largest lead either team has had in the second half. Reynolds for Diaz. Asking for it inside is Risley, instead out up top to Schneider. Left side, 3 by Risley, and we're tied. And neither one of these teams can find any separation right now. Taps, so leads the free throw line. Going to go on Reynolds, has it swatted out of bounds, and the loose ball goes right to Kazart. Pick being set by Risley, but Taps fights through it. Diaz for the lead, no good. Rebound, tipped by Reynolds, off of Kanya. Metter to Taps. She wants to go right inside, dribbles right past Schneider, out of bounds. Possession to the Javelinas. We will take our media timeout at the 3:28 mark, all tied at 38. An even game through close to 3 quarters. We'll be right back. This is Javelina Athletics. With the stat line she's put together tonight, with still 13 and a half minutes to go in this game, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 6 steals. Brianna Solis is going to have a very legitimate claim for the LSC's Defensive Player of the Week award this week. But obviously, more important things on the mind of the Javelinas right now. Taps to Thompson. Shot no good, but a foul is drawn. 2 free throws coming for the junior from Houston. They call that one on Kizart. That's 2 on her.
Shooting 2 shots for the Hawks, number 22.
And no players with 3 fouls for either team. MSU has 5 players with 2, but nobody with any more than that, as Thompson's first one is no good. So far in the third quarter, Tamook 4 of 11. MSU is 5 of 12. The Hogs have only tried 1-3. It was no good. MSU 2 of 4 from beyond the arc. And Thompson can't hit either free throw, so this game stays tied. MSU also has not tried a free throw in the third quarter. The Hogs are 3 of 6 now. Tamook for the game has shot 18 from the charity stripe. MSU just 3. And don't think that the MSU coaches aren't aware of that difference. Payne guarding Kazart, just 8 to shoot. Moving right on a pick. Pass inside. Dukes turnaround hook shot. Nothing but net. And Annette Dukes on the score sheet for the first time. MSU back ahead by 2. Their largest lead tonight was 4. That came late in the second quarter. Taps Kazart trying to sell a hand check foul. Taps lost it out of bounds off of the team in maroon. "19 seconds to shoot as Taps will inbound it. Kanya trying for the hook shot. That's no good. So Lee's right back up for 2. 14 points for Brianna Solis. Kanya with the steal. Ahead goes Thompson. Racing Diaz to the hoop. Layup no good. Into Diaz. She takes advantage. And back ahead by 2 go the Mustangs. You got to give credit to Diaz for that last missed layup by Thompson, as Payne can't hit the 3. And the pressure Diaz put on Thompson likely made her blow that layup. Right side for Diaz. Kerr. And a foul inside, I believe, on Solis. Indeed, it does go against her. That's 2 on the redshirt freshman. Annie Skoll comes in for MSU. Hannah Alcoin replaces Brianna Solis. I said 14 points before. She has 12. My mistake. Kazart inside to Dukes. Trying to shoot over Alcoin. No good. Kanya trying to fuel the fast break. Loose ball, but Taps gets it right back. 90 seconds to play in the quarter. Taps evaluating her options. Halfway through the shot clock. Payne Kanya wants it in the corner instead of giving it to Taps, trying to drive in. Behind the back dribble for 2 points. 7 for her. We're even at 42. Pass into the front court, out of bounds. Risley ran into Christina Kanya. And I didn't hear a call. It looked like it was just out of bounds to the Javelinas. It didn't look like either player was noticed the other. And Risley took one up high and found the hardwood, but she appears to be okay. Cathcart does come in for Risley nonetheless. So Skoll, Kerr, Kazart, Dukes, and Cathcart on the floor for the Mustangs. For Wade Scott, it's Metter, Taps, Payne, Kanya, and Alcoyne. And a quick discussion between Dukes and Noelle Johnson, and we are ready to go. Taps brings it up. Payne to Taps as Tamuk working the perimeter, looking for an opportunity. Reve Payne in a tie game. Taps 10 to shoot. Payne right side, she'll put up a 3. Good. Reve Payne's first 3 points of the night. 40 seconds to play, so one possession in theory remaining for either team. Dukes giving it to Kazart, trying to drive inside. Can't get the bucket, but does draw the contact and the foul. And Christina Kanya and the official both coming out of that play with a smile on their face. 2 shots for Kazart. One of 2 from the free throw line. And first one is up and good. 11 points for her. This is the 8th time she's been in double figures. Her season high is 17. She's hit that 3 times. And both of them go through. Tamuk hold for the last shot. Taps into the front court. Midwestern pressing for a steal. Payne wants to now. Dribbles right through the paint and out to Taps. Javelinas can take all the time that's left. Taps inside has it knocked out of her hands, out of bounds. Ball will stay with the Javelinas now with 11.8. No foul to give for MSU, as they are at 4. Asking for inside is Kanya. Has that one blocked by Cathcart. It's taken by Kazart. 7 to play in the half. In the quarter. Left side for the layup. Good by Courtney Kerr. A heave from Taps. Not even close. And we go to the 4th quarter with MSU holding a 46-45 lead. Wonder if Tamuk maybe a little more aggressive than Wade Scott wanted. To end the quarter, MSU able to turn that extra possession into 2 points. Kerr now with 8. MSU with a 1-point lead, 1 quarter to go. Here from the Spec, this is Javelina basketball. Don't go away. The MSU Texas Mustangs holding a 46-45 lead as we go to the final quarter of regulation. Helen is back out on the floor. The referee's still trying to get MSU out of their huddle. And now they finally leave the bench and start playing the 4th quarter. Metter to Taps. Gazart with 12 points for MSU. Metter and Solis with 12 for the Javelinas, all a game high. And Metter is now all alone atop that list. She's got 14. 47-46 Javelinas. Schneider into Reynolds, trying to work on Solis. Free throw line for Cathcart, driving right past Payne for the layup. Into Thompson. Shot no good, but she draws the foul on Reynolds. And Reynolds not happy to draw the foul, but it was her first. And credit to her for altering the shot enough to prevent Thompson from making it, at least preventing a three-point play opportunity. The largest lead we've had in this game was 9 points. That was back in the first quarter when Tamuk led 15-6. Thompson at the free throw line tonight, just 3 of 7. And she's a 75% shooter on the season, trying to tie up the game here with her second. And Thompson now with 8 points. Evens us at 48. I was going to say, Tamuk led by 9, 15-6 in the first quarter. MSU quickly cut it to 4. And since then, I don't think we've had a separation of more than 4 points between these teams. As Solis knocks it out of bounds. Christina Kanya in for Rachel Taps. MSU Texas with a huddle, almost kind of the huddle you see in a volleyball match here at the Spec. And they break it, Kazart the inbound. Up top, Cathcart being guarded by Payne. Pass into the corner. Kazart back to Mika Schneider. Schneider with 7 points tonight. One of the top assist players in the conference. Shot no good, but she draws the foul on Solis.
Number 32, Brianna Solis. I mean, her third personal foul, first team foul for the Hawkins.
And Schneider, who has 7 points, is headed to her assist total tonight with 5. Schneider 71% from the foul line this season. First one sails through. She comes into this game off her best performance of the season points-wise. Had 19 in MSU's victory over Texas Women's on Saturday. Both free throws give the Mustangs back a 2-point lead, 50-48. Full court press on front court for Kanya. Back to Reve Payne. Javelina's content to be patient here on offense. Metter. Thompson will try a 3. Good. Javelina's jumped back in front. And Brene Thompson is back in double figures with 11. That was the first time she's hit from beyond the arc this evening. Schneider trying to get it inside to Skoll. Instead, Cathcart pulls up for the jump shot, nothing but net. 8 points for her. MSU has 4 players with at least 8 points. Kerr, Cathcart, Schneider, Kazart. Payne almost lost it. Now travels inside. Kanya for a triple, no good. Payne's right there for the rebound off the iron. Tamuk with a second chance. Payne to Metter. Ball kicked by Kazart. You can't keep it in bounds. So Tamuk will toss it in. 16 seconds to shoot. 7:30 to play in regulation. In a game that's been nip and tuck all the way. Kanya into the corner. Thompson again. Hits again. 14 for Brene Thompson. She had 1 point at halftime. Schneider. Meanwhile, Hannah Reynolds with just 6 points in this game, trying to work on Solis. And draws a foul on Kanya. Kanya was going for the steal, but Reynolds was in the shooting motion already. That's 3 on Kanya. And Tamuk with 2 fouls so far in the quarter. Reynolds' first free throw is up and good. This is her first trip to the charity stripe tonight. She's a 57% shooter. First one good, second one Skoll tips it out of bounds. So Tamuk gets the ball with their 1-point lead. And this has been a fantastic basketball game. 2 teams evenly matched. I know it's a cliche, but it's very true as of tonight. Thompson lays it up and in. 16 points for her. Her 6th straight game above the 15-point threshold. Skoll to Reynolds. In on Solis, using the window, but can't get it to go. Kanya into the front court for Metter. Underneath for Thompson, it's tipped away. Good defense by Kazar to let her team get back and reset on defense. Tamuk ahead by 3. Trying to make this a 2-possession game for the first time here in the second half. Payne. Underneath Solis, left open, takes advantage. 14 for her. Timeout, MSU. 6:22 to go in the quarter. The Hogs ahead by 5. And we'll take a break. 58-53 the score.
13, yeah.
MSU Texas ball out of the timeout at the 6:22 mark, trying to erase a 5-point deficit. Brenda Solis with that last layup is a new season high with 14 points. Kazart, Skoll, Cathcart, Reynolds, and Schneider out of the timeout for the Mustangs on the floor. Skoll driving on Metter, now steps back and tosses it up top for Schneider. Thompson trying to D her up. Right side, Cathcart. Skoll tries for a 3, no good. Rebounded by Brene Thompson. Ahead to Metter. Solis underneath for 2 more. A 12-3 run the Javelinas are on. They lead by 7. And Brianna Solis 2 rebounds away from a double-double. Cathcart driving on Kanya, no good. Another rebound for Christina Kanya. Payne. Kanya with 4 rebounds to her credit tonight. Metter drives in, knocks Cathcart off her, and draws the foul. And for Liz Cathcart, that's 3 fouls on her. 2 shots for Danielle Metter. Metter 1 of 2 from the free throw line this evening. The first one rolls in the right direction for the blue and gold as Kerr, Dukes, and Diaz enter the game, replacing Cathcart, Schneider, and Skoll. And Metter, 2 of 2. She's got 16 points. That's 3 off her season high. Tamuk matches their largest lead of the evening at 9. Kerr trying to get into double figures. Gazart with 12 points. Reynolds over Solis for 2. And Hannah Reynolds has 9. Kanya. Thompson. Driving in shot over Reynolds, no good. Solis had it for a second, had it knocked away. Reynolds to Gazart. Diaz left side. Duke's trying to work on Kanya inside. Reynolds almost lost it. Now she'll try a 3 off the iron. Thought that was going to go back through. It didn't. Out of bounds, and with the shot clock fresh, MSU will inbound it again, and we'll take our media timeout. The 4:39 mark, a 7-point game, 62-55 Javelinas. Hogs trying for their 4th win in 5 games. They have another 4 minutes and 39 seconds to go. We'll be right back with more Javelina basketball. Gazart tossing it in. MSU trying to chip away at a 7-point deficit. They've trailed by as many as 9. Tamuk with a 12-3 run built that 9-point lead. Gazart to Dukes. Cutting in is Reynolds. A well-designed play. Reynolds gets it back. Does get fouled by Metter. Or check that, by Rachel Taps. And now Noel Johnson all over the official on the near side. It was a good play by Taps of not letting Reynolds make the layup, forcing her to earn both of these points. And Danielle Metter preparing to enter the game for the Javelinas. Reynolds is now 2 of 3 from the free throw line. She is in double figures as Reve Payne leaves. Danielle Metter comes in for her. Reynolds trying to get her squad within 5. Can't do it. Kanya the rebound. Metter ahead quickly. Now will slow it down. Front court for Rachel Taps. Kanya. Metter. Right side Thompson. Thompson draws the foul. And with Thompson at 16, she is right at her average. A chance to add to it here. Put herself in a great position to wake up Friday morning as still the Lone Star Conference leader in points. Although I'm sure she's much more interested in whether or not her team gets the win. 1 more to her total. She's got 17. Trying to push Tamuk's lead back up to 8. Second one is good as well. 18 points for Brene Thompson, an 8-point game. And this Javelina defense left side Gazart. She'll try an open 3, no good. Solis skies for the rebound. Almost has it taken away, gets it back, draws a foul. Javelina ball. That's Annette Duke's first foul. That's also 4 on MSU. And for Solis, another double-double. And if she can get 4 steals in these last 4 minutes, she'll have a triple-double. Metter into the paint, shot blocked by the combination of Reynolds and Kerr. Out of bounds to Midwestern to stay to 3:46. This is Solis' second double-double of the season. She had 13 and 15 against WT back on the 10th in Temuc's upset of the nation's number 2 team. Dukes. Travels, Javelina ball. Javelina has entered this game forcing an average of just over 17 turnovers per contest. That is the 21st turnover by MSU. And also credit to the Hogs. In the second half, they have not turned the ball over once in the second half of this game. Metter for taps. 2 more points could all but seal this one. It would also give the Hogs their first double-digit lead. Thompson lost the ball. Ahead goes Diaz. Kanya back on defense, trying to draw the charge. Called for a block. And 2 points coming up. 2 shots coming up. And that's 4 on Kanya. Both teams have now committed 4 fouls here in the half. Christina, the younger sister of Kaylee Kanya, who played basketball here. Her last season was 2016-17. (64-57) is our score. Diaz trying to get MSU within 6 points. Six points for her. 64-58 is our score. And a foul in the backcourt. And with MSU over the limit, Brene Thompson will go to the free throw line. That one goes against Tana Diaz. And Thompson trying to get to 20 points for the 6th time this season. And she has really put herself in contention for top conference recognition at the end of the season. Plenty of basketball still to play. The Hogs have not even finished their first go-around in LSC play. But Brene Thompson making a name for herself. Through 16 games, including tonight, 20 points for her. Temuc's lead back up to 8. MSU can ill afford empty possessions right now. Schneider for 3. That's just what the doctor ordered for the Mustangs. Schneider's got 12. Taps quickly ahead to Thompson. Driving in, left side, Kanya. Out for Thompson. And back up top for Taps. Temuc content to spend some time. Ball knocked away by Diaz and stolen by Kazart. A 3-on-1. Diaz for the wide open bucket and a foul. And a foul on Metter. 5 fouls committed by both teams so far. Free throw by Diaz brings MSU within 4. 9 points for her. Thompson to the front court, quickly trying for 2. Doesn't get it. Rebound by MSU. And Thompson maybe a little bit too ambitious there. Kazart will try a 3. We've got a 1-point game. And a timeout, I'd imagine, upcoming for the Javelinas as Taps into the front court. No timeout called. Taps going straight to the hoop. Has it blocked out of bounds to the Mustangs. And my mistake, Mustangs have a 1-point lead following that 3. MSU with an 11-0 run to move in front. Schneider has that one blocked. Solis to Taps. 1:50 to play. Taps left for Chloe Lane. Thompson wants to take it herself, guarded by Kazart. Sends Metter away. Taps. Now Thompson heading inside. Metter. Taps with it. Solis off the window, no good. Rebounded by the Javelinas. I think we have a foul inside against MSU.
Foul number 2. Chelsea Kizar. Third personal foul at the free throw line.
Two shots for Rachel Taps. A minute 26 to go in regulation.
I know, but they're not going to call it. They're only calling body fouls.
Taps first to 2, nothing but net. 8 points for her.
Kids, come down here.
Taps in a tie game. Can't hit the second one. So MSU trying to jump back in front, and Noelle Johnson wants a timeout with 1:19 to play. Javelina's had a 64-56 lead with 5:18 to go. And Tamuk, after the teams exchanged free throws, we're up by 8 again with 3:11 on the clock, but a 3 from Micah Schneider, a 3-point play by Kitana Diaz brought the Mustangs within 2. Then Kazart's 3 gave them the lead, and Taps' free throw represented the first point for the Javelinas in about 2.5 minutes. Mustangs trying to draw even with the Hogs. Both teams, or I should say, they would be 4 and 5. Tamuk would be 3 and 5, and a travel on Kazart, who was incredulous at the call. Basketball back to the Javelinas. And I'd be shocked if Renee Thompson wasn't the player to get the basketball here. Taps to Metter. Thompson into the corner. A 3, no good. So Lees can't corral the rebound. It's taken by Kazart. Pass off the mark for Reynolds to turn it over. That's the 23rd turnover by MSU. And if the Mustangs lose this game, they're going to lament just too many passes that didn't find the target. Quickly inbounding it to Chloe Lane is Metter. Now Taps into the front court. 45 seconds to play. Taps looking for Thompson. Now just trying to find some help. Gets it to Metter. Across for Thompson. 35 on the game clock. Thompson inside, has it blocked by Reynolds, but a foul is called on MSU. They get Kazart for that call. And with both teams over the limit, here's 2 more shots for Brene Thompson. Thompson gives Tamuk the lead. Christina Kanya comes in. 21 now for Brene Thompson. 31.8 to go, so MSU can, if they want, essentially hold for the last possession. It'll be close with it, but there won't be much of a difference. And Thompson with 2 huge free throws. Wade Scott wants one more stop. Kazart, let's see if MSU tries a 3 here for a quick 2. Left for Schneider. Reynolds sets a pick. Schneider driving right in the corner. Kazart for the lead, too strong. Kanya the rebound, they're going to have to foul. And Reynolds does with 14.7 on the clock. And here is Christina Kanya, 6 of 12 from the charity stripe this season. Kanya can hit the first one. And now Haven Risley comes into the game. And she's going to replace Tana Diaz. So Kazart, Kerr, Reynolds, Schneider, and Risley on the floor for MSU. Kanya hits the second at 2. Her first point of the night is an enormous one. Obviously, you'd rather have the 4-point lead, but if you're the Hogs, you're safe in the knowledge that barring something crazy, the best MSU can do on this last possession is tie it up at 14.7. And with under 15 seconds to play, as Cathcart checks back in, you'd have to imagine the Mustangs are gunning for a 3, nothing else. And maybe you could get a quick 2 and force Tmook to shoot free throws again, or maybe hope for a steal. But I'd be shocked if the Mustangs weren't gunning for a 3. Now on the season, the Mustangs shoot fewer three-pointers than any team in the Lone Star Conference. And coming to this game, they had the lowest shooting percentage from 3 among LSC teams. So far tonight, they're 6 of 23, which is 26%. And if you're Tmook, the directive obviously is do not foul. Whether they take a 3 or they toss it inside to Reynolds, do not foul. Especially if they shoot a 2, don't foul and give them a chance at a 3-point. Don't let them tie it from the free throw line. Schneider to Kazart. Right side, Cathcart left wide open, can't hit it. Rebounded. And a tie-up. And the referee signal possession. Javelina's with 5.5. And actually, no, they're going to call a foul on Hannah Reynolds.
Hannah Reynolds, her 4th personal foul at the free throw line, shooting 2 shots for the Hogs, number 23, Rachel.
And Rachel taps at the free throw line. All you need is 1 of 2 to ice this one. Taps, hits the first one. And Taps misses the second one. Timeout called by MSU at 5.1 in a 4-point game. And Johnson was basically right in front of me, calling that timeout as soon as the ball was touched by MSU. 5.1 to the Hogs, that far away from what would be their 3rd straight victory. This would be the first 3-game win streak in conference play for the Javelinas since 2012 and 2013, when they won 3 straight games in the LSC. As I said, it would put them at 4-4 in the conference, 8-8 overall. And this obviously would give them 5 wins in their last 6 games. This would just be an enormous win for Wade Scott and his team. And again, the directive with 5.1 on the clock, do not foul. MSU's going to have to catch and shoot. Kazart misses it, rebounded by Metter. Ball game over. 3 in a row for the Javelinas. And they even their conference record at 4-4. They've won 3 straight games in the LSC. They're 8-8 overall. And a huge home victory for the Hogs over MSU Texas. And they put 2 games of distance between themselves and the Mustangs with a road win. Tmook so far this season is now 5-3 at home. And they'll have 1 more home game on Saturday against Cameron at 2 p.m. So see if Tmook can make this 4 in a row. As the Javelinas go over and acknowledge some of the applause from the fans on the far side. A 71-67 home win for Tmook as they reach 500. And plenty of credit, enough plaudits to go around in this game. You had Brene Thompson, 22 points. as she continues to excel this season, and especially over the last 5 games, really making a name for herself here in the Lone Star Conference. Danielle Metter, 16 points and 8 boards, also 3 assists for her and Brene Thompson. Brianna Solis, 16 and 12. Christina Kanya off the bench for 5 huge rebounds late in that game. And the Javelinas pull off a 4-point home win over MSU Texas. A huge win for Temuco. They've won 3 in a row and 5 out of 6. And again, they'll be back home on Saturday against Cameron. And we have, as I'm sure you're aware, one more game left in tonight's doubleheader, the second half. The men's team, Johnny Estelle's Javelinas, looking for what would be their 5th straight victory. Trying to get to 5-3 in conference play. And the Javelinas will play the MSU Texas Mustangs. And we'll have all that for you after a break. We'll be back in a few minutes with Game 2 of tonight's doubleheader between the Hogs and the Mustangs. Don't go away. This is Javelina Athletics.